Suzanne mentioned that we were actively involved in the disaster recovery and response to our horrible fires that happened this summer. And can you believe that we'd still be talking about forest fires in December? Let's hope that that's not something that continues on into next year, but I fear it will. Nevertheless, Extension did respond, and I'd like to ask Don Sandoval, who is the regional manager for the Colorado Department of Local Affairs, to come forward and talk about his experience with Extension and some of the things that we did this summer in relation to that response to the wildfires. Please help me welcome Don Sandoval.
Good afternoon, everybody. The Department of Local Affairs has had a long-standing partnership with the Colorado State Extension Service. It's been fabulous for us. We've had, for 20 years, we've had a community development program that we've worked with the Extension Service, and it's been one of the great partnerships, I think, for the local governments in the state of Colorado. And the Department of Local Affairs, our program, our agency is to work with local governments. We provide financial and technical assistance to local governments, whether it's a city, a county, a town, a special district. And one of those technical assistance services basically is when a disaster occurs, what we do is we work with the local government to talk to them about recovery, because those responders out there, they're doing their jobs, and they're doing their jobs very well, very quickly, and they understand what they have to do. But recovery is a whole different ballgame. So we work with local governments in developing two different types of recovery responses. First of all, we sit down with the local elected officials and the county management teams, in this case for the High Park Fire, to talk about setting up a recovery center so that it can be a one-stop process for the survivors and victims of the disaster. And the idea is to bring as many resources for them to go through the whole process, from housing, finance, health, mental health issues, just all other services, planning, environmental issues. And one of the most important partners that we have found in this disaster recovery is the Extension Service and all the different resources that they provide. It is the other side of it is that's the midterm, short-term kind of recovery process that we go through. Then we start working with the local government to talk about the longer-term process in recovery, because now, once you get them through the disaster recovery center, then you start to move toward the very long-term recovery, watershed management, and just personal income, trying to get back in place to the people's lives so that they can recover and move on with their lives. And Extension Services provide such a wide variety of information. Not only have they helped with the animals that were at the ranch, in feeding and caring of the animals, and understanding and talking to the ownership about how the animals are affected by the smoke and distress of the process. But once the animals had to move off of the ranch and move back into other places, some of the 4-H'ers went out and started finding people that could house those animals and house them and feed them and take care of those animals. I mean, that is just a few of the things that the Extension Service has been able to do. In a recovery center, as people were coming in and talking about smoke issues and food safety issues in the fires, because as you remember, this fire was a situation where it started and it lasted a long time. We had a lot of folks out there that were evacuated and could not get back to their homes, and so then the electricity's out, so what do they do when they get back home with the food safety issues? And so the Extension Service was able to provide a lot of information as far as that is concerned. And then once the recovery center started shutting down slowly, the Extension Service was able to talk about, how do you reseed, how do you go ahead and look at restoration in and around your home facilities. So they provided a lot of information. And the beauty of this is that when the Waldo Canyon fire started in El Paso County, the Larimer County Extension Service information was able to be transferred down there because they were not as prepared with it as we were up here. And that's one of the beauties of the Extension Service. And I'm not going to spend too much more time on this except to say that if it wasn't for the Extension Service up here, I think the services of the survivors that came through our center wouldn't have had as much information to go ahead and help with their own recovery. And we cannot forget that they're a valuable asset to the community, and that when we do recovery centers throughout the state of Colorado, because we know that there's going to be other disasters in the state, whether it's fire, tornadoes, or whatever it happens to be, flooding, that the Extension Service will be there, and we're going to invite them to make sure that they're there as partners in our recovery centers. And we really truly appreciate, Laurel, what you did, and all of your staff and all of the people that you brought into the center. And we thank you very much.